A lot of gamers are looking for a challenge, and 2015 delivered. Today, Gameranx brings you the 10 hardest games of 2015 that really punished us. Number 10, Mordheim City of the Damned, which has the distinction of being the first video game adaptation of the cult classic tabletop game Mordheim by Games Workshop. This game is tough. I mean, you're expected a lot. Not immediately. For a while you're playing the game and you're like, okay, I get it. And then you level up your warband. Okay, this sounds like a good thing. Leveling up is good. Except for now you're worrying about people that are like 100 to 200 rankings more than you, and they're crushing you every time in like 5 turns. It's really hard to keep going. I mean, granted, once you get higher level, it's a lot of fun, but a lot of players called it unrealistic and felt it was being too much asked of them as people new to the game. Number 9, Hotline Miami 2. And I think we can all agree that Hotline Miami was pretty sweet, and so is Hotline Miami 2. But it's not quite the same thing. Something that made Hotline Miami so great was that it was a bit claustrophobic, and that sounds bad, but it's actually good. And Hotline Miami 2, level design's a bit more open, and you're dealing with a lot of things that happen maybe not in your direct line of sight, or off screen entirely. And as a result, you have to take your time a little bit more. And on hard mode, forget it. I just don't bother with hard mode in 2. And I absolutely did in the original. Now, I'm not saying this makes the game less enjoyable, it's just definitely more of a challenge. Number 8, Ori and the Blind Forest. Now, what would a good platformer be without frustration? These games are basically designed to make you go, oh, come on. No, I did not record that in the bathroom. I was merely impersonating myself if I play Mega Man. Ori and the Blind Forest absolutely lives up to that tradition. There are numerous areas in the game where a minor mistake means death. And the fact the game has an involving story makes it all the more frustrating because you're not just trying to get to the end of the level, you're trying to get to the next part of the story. With Ori, the difficulty comes much from surprise. Once you get to the memorization process, it starts to become a little bit easier, but it's still very difficult when you're just experiencing it for the first time. Number 7, Pillars of Eternity. What is very much hailed as a return to old isometric 90s strategy RPGs, stuff that we haven't seen in quite a while, really stays true to how the games used to be. Difficult. It's so hard, the game itself says don't play the game on normal mode unless you have experience with the game. A particular fight, fairly early in the game, I won't say what because I don't want to really spoil anything, I want you to play it because it is great. Got people everywhere on the internet riled up, myself included, because it's tough as hell. I mean, you're pretty low level. Wouldn't you think that the bosses would be somewhat kind to sort of teach you what's going on? No, this game expects more of you, and that's good. That's a good thing. But that doesn't change the fact that this is not an easy game. Number 6, Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain. Now, this is a tough game for maybe a different reason than you might expect. The artificial intelligence can be really unpredictable. It's not exactly the most consistent AI that's ever existed, but it's also really not stupid. It's pretty smart, actually. And the game really gets hard once they start giving you similar missions to early missions, but changing the conditions of them, like no guns, no radar, getting detected makes you fail, etc. And if you really want to complete this game, it's legitimately kind of a job. You gotta take this game serious. Number 5, The Witcher Wild Hunt. Played on the Deathmarch setting. It's called Deathmarch, I had to use a voice. So Witcher 3 isn't exactly an easy game in the first place. When you crank it up to Deathmarch, this is, I tried it for a while and it's just wow. It's easily up there with Dark Souls and Bloodborne. Geralt is a very powerful individual, but if you go up to Deathmarch, it's like he's normal and just everyone else is like a paper doll or something. Meanwhile, big magical monsters roam the land. You need to get good at it, you need to do upgrading, you need to craft stuff. I mean, there are 0 systems in this game that you can go, okay, I won't employ that if you go up to that difficulty level. Number 4, so let's talk about Dark Souls, by the way. Dark Souls 2 Scholar of the First Sin was remastered for the PC, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One with updated graphics. Fans kind of thought Dark Souls 2 originally wasn't that hard, or at least not hard enough. I don't know, I thought it was a hard game, personally. But I guess everybody much prefers a game that's impossible to a game that's hard, at least Dark Souls fans. And Scholar of the First Sin completely changed the enemy placement and a few other things, and the game's friggin' hard. Frankly, I still love the game, and it looks gorgeous. They did such a good job remastering it. If there's any game I associate with throwing my controller, and now Dark Souls 2. Number 3, Bloodborne, which was a brand new IP from the creators of Dark Souls, and believe it or not, some people said that compared to Dark Souls, Bloodborne had slightly more simplified gameplay. I just don't understand where a person who says that it's easier than Dark Souls is coming from. Maybe it's a little bit easier to get used to, but you're still still required to take some serious thought into every battle. You need to be patient and you need to be ready at all times, because anywhere you can get attacked by something that can kill you in like just a couple hits if you're not ready. In all seriousness, From Software, the creators of both of those games, is probably one of the toughest developers on gamers out there. Number 2, Darkest Dungeon. What makes this game so difficult is the idea that it has a mechanic based entirely on stress. So there's 2 effects that happen from stress. The more stress you have, the more likely you are to have a mental health problem, which can, believe it or not, alter your perception of everything going on and really screw you. Or if it maxes out, you can have a heart attack. Oddly enough, having a game mechanic based on stress is really stressful, and it's not exactly an easy game if it didn't have that, so they throw that on top of it and you're like, seriously? And finally, number 1, Super Mario Maker. Oh sure, it sounds like it's for kids. You get to be creative and make levels for Mario! Except the Mario Maker community is full of sadists, and I mean that in the best possible way. I'm not attempting to call anyone evil, but I am going to say that every single Mario Maker level I have experienced, now I understand that there's probably some minute little idea that I missed, but they feel impossible. But for some reason, it's great. I don't know, there's something about playing levels that some person created as opposed to levels that were approved after a lot of people worked on it. And then there's the troll levels that you know for a fact you can't beat. I mean, Super Mario Maker, I hope is a fixture of Nintendo consoles to come for many years, because it's just a ton of fun. It will also kick your ass, and without mercy. So if you enjoyed this video, please click the like button, and in the comment section, share your thoughts on difficult games in general. If you haven't subscribed to us, now is a great time. We upload brand new videos every single day of the week, and the best way to see them first is, of course, a subscription. As always, we thank you very much for watching this video, and we will see you again right here next time on Gameranx.